Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a game between Power Rangers and Stake Gaming for the Captain's Draft 3.0, presented by Dota Cinema and Moondog Studios, which is what this says. Except it doesn't, but you know, we take those, I think. Anyway, I picked this game because it's one of the most recent ones, and I'm gonna be casting a lot these next few days. I'll just say it right away, but we're actually closing in on me leaving on my vacation. We're getting really close, and I'm leaving in... actually, the last time, or the last opportunity I'll get to record videos is in 8 days from now. And as a result, I kind of... I'm not off schedule, but I should really, actually get to it, right? I should hurry up and make sure I have all the videos I want to have ready. And that's why, for now, for the time being, we'll just go ahead and do quite a bit of casting. Hope you don't mind that. I'll try to squeeze in something else whenever I can, but for the time being, just mostly casting. Anyway, so we got bands like Nature's Prophet. We got the Death Prophet because she's balanced. We got the Doom, we got the Oracle, we got the Bird Mother. I mean, I'm really not surprised by any of these. This is just Ember Spirit as well. It's just, these are just strong heroes, just get rid of them. Right. As per picks, we do have some very strong candidates. I was about to bring up the Dazzler, but yeah, Dazzler, of course, being a very powerful hero. Tusk, Magnus, Abaddon are still in the pool as well. Tiny, obviously. So we kind of got to look at what's available, right, in these games. Because it's a Captain's Draft tournament, and as such, there's just, there's just a little more variety. I guess actually there's less variety there, which makes it more variety. I don't know, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? But we take options away, which makes it so that we have to pick different things. And Morphling actually getting picked up really early, that's interesting, but you have to think about what is available, right? That's always the important thing. What is available in Captain's Draft? That's generally the thought process, right? In regular Dota, it's more about the strategy of, okay, this is how we're gonna construct our lineup, right? These are our timings, and this is the hero that we're gonna use for that, and this is the hero we're gonna use for that. And if you want to have something specific in mind, if you want to try something a little fancy, then you go for something that's, a little fancy, and you take some unique heroes, right? In Captain's Draft, it's different. In Captain's Draft, you're often looking for heroes that, are the best at their specific thing. Right, so for example, Ember Spirit is banned, right, Doom is banned. So we already took out two really potent safe laners. You can play Death Prophet in a safe lane if you really want to, so okay, she's also taken out. What do we have left for a safe lane carry? Necrophos, maybe, right, but he's not really that popular right now. Maybe a Tiny, right? Tiny, but the problem with Tiny is Tiny always needs a team to work well. And if you're going up against a Dazzle, that's already gonna make it really tough to get use out of the Tiny. So, maybe not Tiny, right? And possibly a Drow Ranger, and of course the Morphling, right? And then you just have to think about, okay, which one do we like the most, right? Which one is actually going to serve our team the best? Which one fulfills the purpose we are looking for? And it seems for Power Rangers, that's going to be the Morphling, right? And that's really how you have to think about Captain's Draft in terms of picking. It's actually very different from regular Dota, right? It's very different from Captain's Mode, and I like it. I like it though. Right, and sometimes you get screwed over a little, which is why this is it's a very competitive mode. I actually think I think this is probably the second most competitive game mode in the game. Right, Captain's Mode, of course, being number one, Captain's Draft being number two, but at the same time, it can be a little hard, right? It can be a little difficult because if you look at the hero pool again, you'll see we're actually kind of lacking in supports, right? I mean, what do we have here? We have the Kotl. We have the Shadow Shaman, who is good. Shadow Shaman is probably going to get picked up. We have the Crystal Maiden, I suppose. Venomancer? Leshrac, maybe? I mean, Phoenix, possibly. Abaddon. Abaddon is solid, but at the same time, you already have a Tusk on your team, so you don't really want the Abaddon there, right? I guess you can, but it's still a little awkward. Oh, Crystal Maiden, there we go. Well, on the other side, we have a Tiny. Tiny's an aggressive hero, usually. So, Abaddon, well, I guess he can be a bit aggressive. He tends to be more of a defensive hero. It's more about keeping your team alive, making sure they get the items they need for protecting them, right? And it can be a bit awkward like that. But anyway, so with Stake Gaming, they already have the mid secure with the Razor. I think Razor is a very good pickup here, actually. We have the Tiny for the safe lane carry, and of course the Dazzler as the support. So we are looking at probably another support and an offlaner. Offlaners would be The Magnus, of course, Phoenix could be an option, Abaddon if you really want to, but I think that's really like the extent of it. We'll probably see one of those. If you really, really want to, you could make Treant work, but I don't see any reason for that, right? Power Rangers doesn't really have a lineup that really needs a Treant, so you can deal with it. Or like needs you to get a Treant so you can deal with it. There we go with the Shadow Shaman. And now all they need, of course, is that offlaner. So if I had to guess, I would say it's the Magnus. Right up. Abaddon. Okay. You know what, that works. So they're actually going for a pretty heal-heavy lineup, right? This is going to be a 5-man lineup if you look at this, right? They're not really going to be heavy on ganking. They're not really going to be heavy on split pushing because they're not very good at that. Their biggest strength is going to be that 5-manning. Let's go in. Let's actually be really, really aggressive. So, sure. Why not? We'll see how that works out for them. The other side, of course, we have the Morphling for the safe lane. Tusk is going to likely be support, considering the Axe is going to go into the off lane. The Crystal Main, again, another support. And Lashok going into the mid. I actually like the Crystal Main Lashok combination quite a bit. Lashok does really, really well once he actually has the mana available to spam properly. And the Crystal Main provides it with so much mana that, yes, you will be able to spam properly. On top of that, Lashok is a very spell-reliant hero, which is generally what you're looking for if you're going up against a Razor, right? Razor can be a bit tricky to deal with if you're just looking to right-click, especially if you don't have a lot of range. So let's say like a melee mid-hero like a Magnus or a Kunkka, which I'm not saying that these are good mid-heroes, but like they are an option, right? Probably wouldn't have worked here against the Razor. So yeah, I don't know. We'll just see how this works out. But I like the Lashok. I think he's quite interesting. Now, Power Rangers is a bit awkward. They're really reliant on that Axe to perform well. If you take a look at their lineup, right? If you take a look at their heroes, they need... Where's my camera not working? Is it working now? Thank you. But they really need Axe to do well, because else they are just lacking in safe initiation, right? Tusk is an initiator in the extent that he can go in and he can start a fight, but he struggles when it comes down to actually like properly surprising your enemies, because honestly it's just his initiation is really predictable, it's really slow, so it's not really what you're looking for there. Like Tusk, I think, is better at following up, right? Getting big stuns, trapping people, being in the back lines more so than the one that actually just runs in. Axe, really good at just running in, right? You have the Taunt, which got like a pretty big radius, which is going to allow you to actually trap some people and get some proper initiation done. You also have good follow-up, of course. You have the Crystal Main with the big AoE spells. We have the Lashok with the big AoE spells. We have the Morphling who can definitely burst down the target and just make sure that, okay, this guy is a high priority, let's just get rid of him. Now, a lot of these things are true. Axe still needs to perform well to be able to do much this game. So this is going to be a bit tricky, I feel, for Power Rangers to make work. On the other side, on Stat Gaming, we do have the Tiny, which is just a really solid hero. We have the Razor, which is just a really solid hero. And then it's actually kind of interesting. They kind of have like... They kind of have just two cores, right? They have a triple support lineup. They have the Shadow Shaman and the Dazzler is just straight up. We're going to support supports, right? We're going to put down voids, we're going to roam around the map. And then they have the Abaddon, who is something I would describe as a core support, right? While he is a core, strictly speaking, right? He's position 3 this game. The problem the Abaddon is going to face is that he can't actually farm in lane, right? And his job this game is mostly going to be to buy supporting items, right? He also already picks up an Iron Talon, so we can expect him to jungle quite a bit. Maybe he's not even going into the off lane at all, right? Maybe he's just going to stay in the jungle and try to farm up there. Yeah, it seems that's actually exactly the plan. Look at that. It's getting the Curse of Avernus right away, the Iron Talon, to, you know, help him clear out these creeps, and the Abaddon is just going to be in the jungle, right? Like, because he can't do anything here. If he goes into this lane, he dies. Or gets zoned out. He just can't do anything. So, as a result, Cinderin is... By the way, this is actually Cinderin. In case you don't know, State Gaming is kind of like... It's not the most serious team. Like, they are serious in the fact that they are good. They're not serious in the fact that they actually want to, like, compete at the very highest level and, like, you know, I guess, succeed? I don't know how I would describe it. But the thing is just that, you know, they have people like Cinderin, his priorities, obviously casting, right? So... If it comes down to like an invite to a tournament or something like that, fairly certain that Cinderin would actually like rather cast than play. But then again, I don't know the guy, so maybe not. Right, picking up the Stout Shield right away. I actually wonder how serious this team is. Now that I think about it, I am not actually sure that I know. But anyway, So yeah, but we can see that Abaddon, he's mostly just in the jungle, he's mostly just farming up there, which is kind of interesting. And now that the lane is pushed at the top, he's probably gonna go there and try to get some more experience while he heals up with the tangos. So yeah, that's kind of the strategy here, right? So again, kind of like a core support, right? The Abaddon's job in this game is mostly just going to be make sure you get yourself strong enough so you can reliably use your spells during fights. We got the Axe currently going in on Fogged. Not much in terms of follow-up, to be honest. He should be fine. And this is actually kind of a problem. While the Abaddon, of course, not really doing well. Not necessarily what I would describe as doing well. Same is true for the Axe. Axe is not doing well. And that's kind of a problem right now. Axe at the same time is pretty good at jungling, right? Like, that's the thing you've got going for yourselves. This guy, you can just put him into the jungle and he's gonna be fine, right? Like, you're just gonna have him spin down some creeps and there you go. Now you got some money. And it seems that's what he's gonna resort to. So both teams kind of just giving up the enemy safe lane. Right, it's just like, whatever. There's not much we're gonna get out of this. We'll just kind of... Oh, look at Illidan. I like that. Look at that. Look at the way he lined himself up right there. They're gonna get Cinder in. Yeah, that's the first spot. But did you see what he did right here? The snowball came in from this direction, right? And then he was originally standing here, so he walked over there so the snowball could catch him and carry him to the Abaddon. Not only does the snowball deal more damage in that scenario, but it also, you know... gets him close, so you can actually kill him, which is really nice. It's like one of those tiny plays, right, where I feel like a lot of players on a lower skill level wouldn't have done it, and I don't know, I always think it's interesting to point that out. But anyhow, let's actually go ahead and really quickly talk about the players and the heroes we've got. I haven't actually done that so far, but we've got Slicks playing the Racer in the mid lane, going up against FNJK, FNG? Is that FNG? I don't think it's FNG, I think it's just FNG on the Leshrac. We have Cinderin, of course, playing the Abaddon. We talked about him before. We got Illidan on the Morphling, Bignum Dota playing the Tusk, J4 on the Crystal Maiden, on the Axe. At the bottom lane, we have Era on the Tiny, Fogged playing the Shadow Shaman, and Seer Kid playing the Dazzle. So, you know, like... kind of just some known names in there. Like, I know of Illidan, of course. I haven't been watching too much of Power Rangers, gotta be honest with you. So, most of the other players don't really resonate with me. Like, they don't really have... I don't know. I don't really recognize them, right? But I recognize Fogged, I recognize Era, I recognize, honestly, basically everybody on Stake Gaming. They are known players. They have been around for a while. Slicks, I think, if I remember correctly, actually used to be a Hon pop star. No, actually, not just a pop star, but like a really, really good Hon player. At some points, I think he was considered the best in the world. And it was actually... Wait, if I remember this... So, this may be wrong, but I think it's right. But... Yeah, no, I'm actually not sure. Whatever, I'll just say it anyway. If this is wrong, then whatever, then just take it as a story. I'm not entirely convinced that it's right. But Slicks used to play in Australia, right? And what he played in competitive games from Australia on like American and European servers with horrible, awful ping, but he still beat a lot of players in lane, right? Like he managed to make that 300, 400 ping work somehow. Nobody really knows how, but nonetheless, he did really, really, really well, and he was one of the strongest players in the world. So what people often joked about is that Slicks is actually the single best player in the world, right? He's just wearing weighted training clothes, and you could actually see that for real. I think in one tournament, again, don't quote me on this. This may be wrong, right? If it's wrong, just take it as a core story. But I remember in one tournament there was a team which I think had Slicks on it. It was DreamHack in Heroes of New Earth. And one of their players was actually missing. One of the players didn't show up to the tournament in time, not because of anything he did wrong, just because we couldn't make it in time. The plane had some delays. So they had the choice of either forfeiting the match they were supposed to play or playing 4 vs 5. So they played 4 vs 5. And they actually won. They won 4 vs 5 at DreamHack at the highest level in a tournament setting, which was really, really impressive, and Slicks played a big part in that. Now I really hope that this is not wrong. Anyway, let's just move on. If that's a wrong, like if I'm confusing players here, then whatever. I'm fairly certain that Slicks played Hondo at a high level, and he was really, really good. Anyway, Oh, look at that. That's a stack. That's kind of awkward, isn't it? I don't really know if they can kill that. Well, it seems they're gonna be they're doing fun. Actually, Cinder getting quite a bit of farm here. He does have his level 5 already. He is working on brazers, probably. Probably gonna end up being a brazier. Yeah. Sure, just getting some additional stats. Likely gonna end up being drums. You generally build Abaddon as very much an aura support. So you again, like, he's a supporting core. You buy items like Mecha if you can afford it. You buy Aghanims and Force Staff and Glimmer Cape and you know, like drums and Vladimirs and Assault Cross. Right? You don't really plan on hitting. You're just there and you buff up your team and you make them more powerful. This is why I described this as kind of like a 2-core lineup. You have the Tiny, you have Era, who is gonna be dealing most of the damage. Oh, by the way, got a fight in the mid. Slick's actually getting initiated on by Bignum. Stun, follow-up? No, nothing so far. The damage drain is apparently too scary to deal with, and I can actually kind of understand that. Razor is really tanky. This hero has a lot of HP. As you can see, he's currently sitting at 1000 HP already. He has a magic wand, and even the fairy fire, I suppose. That might come into play at some point. You don't really want to jump him unless you are certain you can actually kill him, because if you are uncertain, he might just destroy you. Right, that's just a thing that can happen with this guy. A Razor can completely overwhelm you and just kill you. You just die, right? And that's kind of something we're trying to avoid. So you could see they were initiating, then they saw, oh god, there's another hero around. We're just not getting this kill, and against a Razor you can't fight for that long, so let's just get out. That's probably the smart call. Meantime, at the bottom lane, they get the tower Era. Going for an early push. He's going to pick up his Blink Dagger right there. Currently still jungling. The Axe really not doing particularly well so far. If we take a look at the net worth. That's not actually how I meant to do this. There we go. Wait, no. There we go. Okay, now we go. I don't really know what was up with that. It was a bit weird. But as you can see, he's really not doing very well. He's actually getting out-farmed by the Abaddon. You know, that's kind of a problem. Right, especially coming from an Axe. You would expect Axe to perform well in the jungle. And actually, one of the things that I kind of feel might be the issue here, or like at least part of the issue, is actually the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden has been farming the jungle quite a bit. She's level 5, right? She doesn't have a lot of network, but that's because, of course, she's been biting wards and sentries and smokes and couriers, right? So she doesn't have a lot of network, but she's actually been farming the jungle quite a bit. Currently 13 last hits. I promise you, none of those were on a lane creep. Right, so that... Oh, we got an initiation on the Shrug. He's going to be tossed up, and that should be a kill. Yeah, they just take that one really quick. Slicks picks it up, and, you know, we take those. Right, but the thing is that the Crystal Maiden is still taking creeps in the jungle, right? And she's not stacking the camps. She's not making sure that Axe actually gets a lot of money. And as a result, is actually really falling quite a bit behind, and that's kind of a problem. Right, like you need Axe to perform well. If you don't have initiation on your team, then you lose, right? And the other side does have initiation, and not only do they have initiation, they have initiation that doesn't need to be scared, right? They have the Tiny that can just jump in. He has a Dazzle backing him up. He has a he has an Abaddon backing him up. He's just gonna be fine. Oh, actually, we gotta jump in, and up goes the Crystal Maiden, and down she goes, up and down. That's just the life of the maiden. Got myself some tea, by the way. I hope you don't mind. I gotta get myself all oiled up. I mean, how the hell else is this supposed to work, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, the voice doesn't come without proper fine tuning. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like the Crystal Maiden may be taking a few too many creeps. You know, you want her to have farm, but at the same time, you really need Axe to have farm. But, well, currently he's finally starting to actually go into the jungle and do well there, I guess. Axe is not actually the fastest farmer. He's not. It's kind of awkward like that. You would expect him to be really quick, but, I don't know. He just doesn't do that well, right? Like... He's kind of luck reliant, and I'm not talking about the spins there, right? The spins are kind of reliable. They aren't reliable as in, okay, I'm gonna spin right now, right? No, obviously not. But they are reliable as in, okay, I got hit 100 times, so I'm gonna spin 17 times or 20 times, right? So, since while jungling, the second scenario is more applicable. You can kind of rely on it. What Axe is luck dependent on, however, is spawns. He does really badly against certain camps. Oh, by the way, this is the 5-man push I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, like, this is a terrible camp for Axe, right? This is a good camp. This is also terrible, right? You want big camps. You want camps that have a lot of spawns. And look at this stake gaming. They're just gonna start pushing now, right? And not only is this push gonna allow them to, you know, really apply a lot of pressure on Power Rangers, really allow them to, you know, just kind of go in on them, right? Just be like, okay, fuck it, let's party, right? But also it gives them a lot of resources. Each tower is worth a tremendous amount of money, and each tower is gonna push your team further and further ahead. So, you know, it's kind of tricky like that, right? You don't really want to have that going on if you're Power Rangers, and well, their response to this game seems to be, let's go and actually gag some people, right? And that seems like a good plan. We have the smoke coming out into the bottom lane. They can definitely get something here. Slicks is farming in a big jungle camp right now, but sadly they're going into the wrong direction. Gonna rotate into the mid. The best thing they're gonna find here is the Dazzle, right? But it seems actually they figured out Slicks is there, and yes, they do. They blink in, they taunt him up, but Razor, he's strong, he's still alive. It's gonna go down in the end, however. Even though you could really tell that that guy is tanky, right? Like, the Razor can really take a hit. It wasn't enough. You're asking for a lot there. So with the Razor dead, of course, Stake Gaming doesn't really want to fight. So it seems that Power Rangers are going to use the opportunity to just take down the bottom tower. However, and I like this response a lot, Stake is just like, alright, how about you take that tower, we'll just go top. Right, we'll just go top, we're gonna take that tower ourselves and just apply pressure that way. And again, if you look at their positioning, right, as a team, it's just everybody that is available in the same spot. They're just gonna be 5-manning here. They have 2 heroes that allow you to deal damage. Now, 2 heroes that allow you to deal damage is not that much, right? Like, especially if you consider that the other side does have 3 heroes, right? Kind of, maybe even more, right? If you could consider Crystal Maiden to be somebody that can actually really start dealing a lot of damage as well. So what you need to do is you really need to make use of those heroes, and you need to make use of them before they taper off, because once those 2 heroes actually like stop being relevant, you just lose, right? It's not even a matter of okay, well, this sucks. No, you just lose right there, because you just can't do it anymore. Era is actually looking for something here. He uses the combo on some creeps, but it doesn't matter, they have the wards down. Oh, we go in with the initiation. Tiny gonna be thrown up in the air. The taunt, the stunts, everything. Leshak burning everybody with the disco horse. Now Slicks stuck in the middle. He's trying to get the axe, but it's not gonna happen. Funjiga is gonna be the first to fall for Power Rangers. Now Bignum might be next in line. One more hit from the Razor is gonna do it, and down he goes. J4 caught in the trees, and that's a 4-4-2. Oh, Illidan actually coming back in the Morphling. That might be a bit risky, but Axe! He jumps in, he gets one more kill, but it's just not enough. Illidan wants the Razor, he wants Slicks, he does have another waveform ready, and he gets him. Now, 4 people go down for Power Rangers. I think 4 people go down for Stake Gaming as well. So, I feel like that definitely went in favor of Power Rangers, just because if you keep in mind who got the money, right? Like, it was Simnerin on Stake Gaming, and it was a Morphling on Power Rangers, right? And so, as we saw, this is actually pretty decent. You also have to keep in mind, though, that the tower did actually end up going down. I'm fairly certain it did not get denied. No, Forked managed to pick that one up. So, while, yeah, I guess you kind of did alright, you also lost the tower, right? And that's really what Stake is looking for. If you take a look at the just the map, right? Like, this tower's down, this tower's down, this tower's down, this tower's down, this tower's down. That's 5 towers already dead. Now, this really just comes down to map control now, right? You can see this is what Power Rangers sees. And this is what, actually it's not that much more. Alright, bad point. I guess. Well, you gotta keep in mind that Power Rangers actually has more wards open on the map, but whatever. Okay, bad point. Disregard that one. I was gonna talk about map vision, but actually, Power Rangers has a tower more than I expected. Alright, I screwed that one up. Shut up. Alright, can we continue? There we go. Thanks, I appreciate it. Illidan, by the way, picking up Lincoln's. That's interesting. Oh, Forked. He has the blink dagger though. He should be fine for the time being. And actually, Slicks is now coming in. He is linked up to Bignum, and he is definitely faster with the drums of the face boots. Tusk is dead. Oh, that didn't work at all. And they might even consider Roshan. I mean, they do have the Shadow Shaman wards ready. And, I mean, that's a worthwhile target, right? Like, they do have a decent cooldown. 2 minutes is quite a while. But at the same time, you know, if you get something out of it, then that's, you know, that's fine. Right, like, if you get Roshan out of it, like, if you get an objective out of it, then sure, use the wards for that, right? Get a tower, get Roshan, get a base. Right? You'll be fine. So, I'm actually a little surprised they didn't go for that, but I guess they thought it would still be risky, and it kind of is, right? Like, oh, Era actually finds the axe. He gets quite a bit of damage. Oh god, Tiny. Yeah, this guy deals a lot of damage. Actually picking up a pretty late hand of Midas here, but, well, that's gonna be dead Roshan, I think. Yeah, without the axe, this is the problem, right? Without axe, Power Rangers has nobody to go in. They just don't. Right? Even if they had the 4 other heroes right around the corner, they couldn't fight into this. Because they have no initiation. So Axe is such an important part of this team, and he's just not doing that well. Alright? Look at the net worth graph here. Now, I understand that like getting Roshan and getting this many towers plays into that. At the same time, I mean, god damn it, your mid is getting outfarmed by Abaddon. Right? Who was jungling at level 1. That's just not alright. That's just not good for your team, right? And the Axe is the 4th lowest in the game. That's a problem. That is a big, big problem. Actually, look at that, Synderen. He's not afraid. He's gonna go in on that Lashrak, no problem. He has his drums, he has his face boots. He actually does deal quite a bit of damage here. That's actually like a serious problem too. Abaddon hurts. This guy can actually just punch somebody and get a lot of damage done. And look at this, I think this is so interesting. Right, the Morphling is just like, ah, whatever, I'll just teleport out, right? So he's just trading hits with Synderen. But Synderen is also like, whatever, I have my ultimate, I mean, what the hell is gonna happen? Oh, Axe goes down again, I'm sorry. Actually, Synderen at the bottom might go down here. Illidan gets the kill. Now, he does not have a replicate active, and the Lincolns has been cancelled. He's gonna start morphing to strength already, but Axe comes in, and not Axe, but Tiny comes in. And Era gets the kill. So that's definitely not worth it. Definitely not worth it. Like, Synderen baited him far too deep into that. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't intentional, right? At first, I feel like they were just kind of ignoring each other, and Illidan saw blood. I was like, yeah, let me get that Abaddon. That, however, definitely worked out in favor of Stake Gaming, right? They'll take that trade any day. Any day. Because Morphling is still the most farmed hero on the map. And he's definitely a hero you don't want to get let out. You know, like, you don't want to let him get out of control. Morphling can do a lot of damage. He can really do a lot of bursty damage, which is actually kind of a problem if you're playing Dazzle, right? Like, if you just get insta-killed, then you can't Shallow Grave somebody. So, kind of an issue. So, we don't really want him to get powerful. And getting a pick-off on him, big deal, big deal. Now, actually, the Tiny is the #1 in the game. Just because of that pick-off right there. He's now getting really close to his Aghanim's. I'm actually a little... you know what, like, I don't know, like, these days, the just really late hand of Midas isn't that uncommon anymore. Ah, sorry. But that's really, like, a new phenomenon. It used to be the case that if you didn't buy Hand of Midas by, like, 7 minutes, then you just don't buy it. Oh, by the way, the shock. Kind of caught out here, and actually Era's going in on this one. He throws him up. Snowball keeps him safe. He doesn't really take any damage from that. Oh, the chop on the axe! He's not going to be able to do much here at all. J4 pops the ultimate. Era dropping really, really low. But he just runs in. He has the Shadow Grave. He has the heals keeping him going. That's 3 dead for Power Rangers. The axe. No, the axe is already dead. The Tusk on the run. Big Gnome is hiding in the trees. I wonder if they can actually catch him out. Tries to TP. Seems to work out just fine. And Illidan, he is also still around. He does have the replica ready. He just dives in. He's looking to maybe get Seal Kit, but not enough. And so Illidan also forced to TP away. Yet again, another bad fight for Power Rangers. They just, again, Axe got caught out, right? Axe was in a bad spot. And then they just don't have any way to go in on the fight. And initiation is so important. It is so important. Now, actually, Illidan gonna be caught out right here. They have the Shackles, the Morph, of course, gonna keep him alive for quite a while. Hex is not ready, used to cancel the Lincolns, and Morphling will end up being just fine, but... yeah, this guy is kind of hard to kill. I mean, it's a Morphling after all. Alright, we burned through the first cup of tea. Man, I love tea. Tea is great. Just, you know, it's just nice, honestly. Just really, really nice. Really, again? God, you can't have those. That's just bad. Ugh. That is a really big issue, actually. And Tiny now has the Aghanim's. Probably a Soul Cuirass next, or BKB. I can really see both. Actually, probably BKB. I can see both. Right, really depends on what he wants to go for. But, you know, like, he either wants to deal more damage, or... Like, either you push harder, or you play safer. Right, really comes down to. I think, actually, the Soul Cuirass is pushing harder, and the BKB is fighting harder. So, it depends on what you're looking for, really. Oh, by the way, one cute thing that I like that the Morphling is doing is actually using the illusion he gets to farm. Which is really cute. Oh, god damn it, Crystal Main. They just die so quickly. This is always a problem with a Tiny. Right, like with a Tiny, people just die instantly. And as a result, it can be a bit hard to keep track of all of it. Well, it's not like it's an important kill, you know. Crystal Main is gonna die quite frequently. Like, how often has she died already? 4 times, yeah. Like, this is just gonna keep happening. And, by the way, now we're on that screen now anyway, right? Axe. 5 deaths, the highest in the game, right? He just doesn't keep up. Now he's getting outfarmed by almost everybody on the enemy team. The only one that has less money is the Dazzle, because he's warding. That's just not good. I wonder what he's even going for. Seems to be drums. I really hope this is not drums. I actually think it's far too late for drums. So should probably just get a BKB or something of the sort. Right, just try to survive in the fights. I don't know. The Shock, by the way, he's definitely working on a BKB. He has the Bloodstone ready. We have the Tusk with drums. Morphling, of course. Getting pretty close to the Ethereal Blade. So that's pretty good, right? Ethereal Blade being really powerful. Oh, wow. The reactions on that one. Pretty close, pretty close. And I would actually... I don't know, probably wouldn't have been the kill, because he's just so tanky with the Strength Morph, but at the same time, might have gotten close, right? Because there was a lot there, you know, big chunks of Stake Gaming's lineup were around and ready to initiate on them. I'm just not sure if they have enough damage, but also another thing you really want to risk, is it? Slicks, in the meantime, trying to defend the bottom lane. It should be fine, honestly. I don't really see them getting that, but... So, bottom tower for the Dire. Gonna be going down right here. Nice deny. That was pretty close. But J4 gets that one. Fogged, hiding in the trees. For no really good reason, but... Sure, why not? And might get him level 16. No, not quite yet, but... we take those, right? He wants level 16 pretty bad, I assume. Oh yeah, actually did get him level 16. Good. But yeah, the Tiny, of course, he is looking really powerful. And he has 3 grand saved up. I mean, I wonder what he's going for, right? It's actually kind of a big deal. No, the BKB, I think, is really good here. First of all, you know, they have a lot of spells anyway, right? But if you just consider what the BKB does in terms of, like, who gets blocked entirely. Blocked entirely. Blocked entirely, right? Like, he's going for Shotgun. Shotgun Morphling is not really that heavy on the right click. I mean, he still deals a lot of right click damage, but it's just not the biggest priority for him, right? Like, he's more about just bursting somebody down with magic, and BKB just blocks all of that. So that's not really that great. We have Tusk, who doesn't deal damage, so it doesn't matter. Everything the Shock does, and that's really a big deal. Alright, the Shock can put out a lot of damage, and I guess it doesn't block the Diabolic Edict, but that's just not a priority, right? Blocks everything else, though, and yeah, that's really nice, right? That's a really big deal. So, honestly, I would like to see a BKB of sorts, but we'll see, right? It's probably going to sell the bottle and pick up the BKB. Yes, there we go. I like tea. It must be really nice to hear me drinking it. I should probably drink a little bit further away from the microphone, but then at the same time, I also don't care. But yeah, there we go. Oh, 2 BKBs coming out. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, that's the timing window. Stake is gonna go now. They're gonna go now. This is what they've been waiting for. I've actually been kind of wondering a little, right? Like, they are pretty powerful. They even had an Aegis and just waited it out, but this is it. You have the BKB on the Tiny, you have the BKB on the Razor. This is where you start looking for something, and immediately the smoke comes out. They heat up the Tiny and make him ready to fight, right? This is just so obvious. This is such a clear indication of what they're looking for. Roshan is still down. Look at this, they're not even going to pick up the rune. And this is deliberate, right? Because if Power Rangers had voids there, and they saw the rune just randomly disappear, then that reveals the smoke. Oh, we got an initiation on Morphling. BKB coming out from FNJ key. And he's gonna keep himself alive for a little while, but the Tiny just deals so much damage. Tusk already taken down. Morphling has to replicate himself out of there, and that's the end of that. Oh god. That was... Alright, okay, I guess that could have been worse for Power Rangers, actually. I mean, they managed to get the Serpent Void used, right? They didn't lose any big objectives. So this is actually fine for them, I feel. But it still sucks. And honestly, the biggest problem with that fight, right? The issue that became really obvious in that fight is they just can't fight. They just can't. Right? You could tell immediately. They just lose the fight. Like, the BKBs are active, what are you gonna do exactly? Right? How do you deal with it? You just can't. You just can't. And that is an issue. That is a big issue. Oh, Morphling actually finds an invisibility. Pretty sure he wants to burst on Fogged. He's just scouting out if he can. Okay, there we go. Nice. We take those. We definitely take those. Oh, he runs into Cinderin. Who, by the way, seems to be working on his Aghanims now. Aghanims is really good on this hero. You basically have to think about it. It's like 7 seconds of your team takes 50% damage. That's really nice. That is really nice. So yeah. But Illidan still scouting around. Of course, he knows his team is around. But, oh, there we go. They get the jump. They get the stuns. Morphling taking a lot of damage. You got the Snowball coming in on Slicks. He activates the BKB, however, and is now turning it around on the Tusk. Tusk goes down of last swing from the Razor. He's going in on FNJK. But for now, the haste will keep the Lashrock in the fight. Slicks now bursts down by the Crystal Maiden. Tiny coming back in. He wants the Lashrock. One more swing is gonna do it. He goes down. On the run now, Cinderin hoping to maybe catch up, but they just don't really have it in them. The Batlanger cancelling the Blink Dagger from Era, and Morphling gets another kill. Bursts down Fogged yet again. The poor Shadow Shaman just can't really do much about that. And Morphling, he's looking kind of scary, right? Like, you can't really see. He's actually able to burst people down. He has like 1200 burst damage. If he uses the waveform, it's more like 1500. That's a decent amount of just like... You know, let's think about who does it. Obviously, insta-kills him, right? Insta-kills that guy. No, you can't actually insta-kill him, but I guess that's kind of the end of it already, but like just taking out the 2 supports is already decent. And that's already pretty alright. That's already pretty alright. And actually, this is an interesting thing, isn't it? Like, you copy the Abaddon illusion, you get a Vladimir for your team. Does that actually work? It should. I think that does actually work. That's really interesting. You just steal yourself an Abaddon. That's cute. Alright. It's gonna send that illusion top and use it to push the lane. I wonder what he's going for. Might be a BKB. You know, like the BKB I feel might allow him to actually fight into this. One of the big advantages of this build is that you have a lot of agility, which leads to you having a lot of armor. He's currently sitting at 30 armor. That's a big deal, right? And by the way, Roshan gonna go down right here, but you can actually kind of fight Era, right? Maybe. Just because of the armor, if you have a BKB, so you don't get burst down and you can actually stay agility. But, you know, the problem is that Morphling, really every single fight, it just seems like he is forced into getting out of there. Right? He just has to run, because he just dies. And that's kind of awkward. So, I don't really know. I don't really know what he's supposed to do. It's gonna end up being the BKB. Alright. You know, sure, why not? Maybe something that's a little bit along different lines, like maybe a Skadi or something would have helped. You see, this is just the issue, right? Like, you buy BKB, now you have a Lincolns that doesn't do anything. Right, now you spend 5 grand on an item that doesn't do anything, because you bought BKB. Oh well, we got an initiation on Slicks. Slicks gonna be taking a lot of damage here, but the Glimmer Cape keeps him alive for the time being, with Sealcat also being around, of course. Power Ranger, no, Power Ranger's not certain they actually want to initiate on it. Fogged. Gonna be attempted to be burst down, but not quite enough yet. We got the Morphling going in. He really wanted that kill, but didn't quite manage to do it. Of course, he used the Adaptive Strike before he ended up using the Ethereal Blade, so poor little Fogged is gonna end up being fine. You obviously want to combo Ethereal Blade into Adaptive Strike, right? Not the other way around. Since Ethereal Blade gives you the amplified magic damage. But yeah. BKB now down on the Morphling. We'll see if this is actually gonna be enough. Right. I'm a bit skeptical, but alright. Currently this game is not looking particularly great for Power Rangers. They have never really had a moment where they were truly ahead. And all of their towers are dead. Everything Stake wants is ready, right? Well, the Assault Cuirass is actually coming up pretty soon on Era, but I wonder if they're gonna farm that up before they fight. I mean, they have actually been pretty defensive from, you know, the just based on the past few minutes. They haven't actually been going for a lot of kills or anything, so it's kind of surprising like that. Vanguard picked up on the axe, by the way. It's interesting. Not really sure why a Vanguard. Alright. Tower gonna be under siege. Era just walks in and starts pounding into it. He doesn't really care much about dying. He does, of course, have the edges ready, right? But the heals, look at this. It's just so much. And with the Serpent Ward on top of all of that, the barracks is just gonna fall. They got the initiation going in on Seal Kid. They want the Dazzle right away and they get him. Era turns it around on the axe. Gonna be burst down by him. Actually, so far he's still fine, but Cinnamon manages to pick up that kill. Morphling now trying to fight it out, but he just doesn't have it in him. The BKB is just not enough. We lose Bignum to Slicks, and that's a 2-4-1. Surprisingly low amount of kills, but you know, it seems to me like Power Rangers are still not in a fighting position. Crystal Maiden also picked off now, and that's gonna be a dead barracks. Mid goes down and Tiny actually finds Illidan. He throws him up. We got the... No, we don't. Okay. We got the Shackles coming up, but actually we don't because the Shadow Shaman doesn't have enough mana. And the Replicate out from Illidan, so he will end up being fine. He didn't actually end up using the BKB during that fight. Like, that's actually... You see, that's an issue, right? Like, he just spent 4 grand on an item that did literally nothing because he didn't get an opportunity to use it. This is just a problem. This is just not very good for their team. Alright. Alright. Barracks are down mid. I'm fairly certain that we're gonna see the Assault Cuirass come out from the Tiny now. Or maybe he keeps the Hand of Midas. There we go. Okay. But yeah, Assault Cuirass done on the Tiny. Of course, we probably have some other items coming up soon as well. Yeah, Fog, look at that. Dude, he's just done with this. Screw you, Morphling. I'm not gonna be burst down any longer. Alright, we got the Aghanims done on Cinderin, also picking up a Medallion. So that kind of goes a long way, of course. We have the Glimmer Cape done on the Dazzle, and soon BKB. I wonder how close he is actually. Is that it? Yeah, no, not BKB. What am I saying? Aghanims, of course, but Aghanims on the Razor. So Slick's also ready to fight, and I like the Aghanims choice a lot here, right? They want to push. They have a lot of damage coming out already, and with the Aghanims, you're just gonna. It forces a reaction, right? And it's not gonna be a slow siege. It's gonna be really fast. So Power Rangers, when Stake Gaming actually starts to push, they need to react. Right, they need to do something about it, and man, that's just not gonna end well for them. Era blinks in, doesn't quite connect with the stun on Illidan though, so Morphling will end up being fine. He has his Hand of Midas again. You know what? I actually kind of like Hand of Midas on Tiny. I think it's really cool because the 30 attack speed is actually significant. Right, it's not generally a thing you buy a Hand of Midas for, but on a Tiny, I can actually totally see it. Right, it's just like, okay, you know what? I do actually want 30 more attack speed because I'm currently sitting at 200. Right, like 30 is actually a lot. Like, we take that. So, yeah, I'm sure that's like one of the big reasons why he's like so adamant about keeping it around. Although at this point, like he might want to like lose it and pick up crits or something like that. But I would be surprised if we even get to that stage. It seems like Stake Gaming is just gonna look to finish the game right now. Right. Actually, they find Illidan. Oh god, if he dies, it's just over. Okay, the buyback is ready, which he has to use. There we go. Okay, Morphling is back in the game, but that is a big deal. They did use the Rasta boards. Actually gonna fall back. Alright. So, that's actually an interesting play. They're just gonna get out. I actually kind of like it a bit. right? They just want to wait for everything to be ready again, right? They want to have the Razor ultimate ready. They want to have the Shadow Shaman ultimate to be ready. And it's not really that long of a cooldown, it's 2 minutes, right? And the upside of that is that the Morphling just bought back. So not only did he lose money, but he also can't farm properly right now. So it's just not that big of a deal, right? It's just like he might as well be dead. He can't really farm. So what's the issue? We'll just leave, right? And good luck, Illidan. Good luck catching up to us while having 60% less money, right? Just doesn't really work. It gives the Tiny an opportunity to get another item. I wonder what it's actually going to end up being, if anything at all. Abaddon. Probably Lotus Orb, if I have to guess. I mean, I don't really know what else it could be. Shiva? Shiva seems a bit unnecessary. I would rather have a Lotus Orb this game, honestly. Like, maybe you can return, like, the Adapter Strike to the Morphling. It's actually a very slow projectile. It's totally something you can react to. Absolutely, right? Like, if you see the Ethereal Blade and the Adapter Strike coming, you can Lotus Orb the person and just throw it back at the Morphling. Which would be a big deal. I don't think he can actually tank that himself. So, Oh, okay, this is gonna be a fight. We got the Shiva Scourge coming out. Era actually caught in the middle of this. He gets Varus punched away, but the Tiny's still alive. He just activates the BKB and pounds it out. The Shrug gonna be taken down with the Suicide. Illidan still trying to fight it up. The BKB runs out, however, and he's now looking for Fogged. He gets trapped up, and it's just not enough. The Morph is just not enough, and the GG is called. With Illidan dead yet again. Not even the Shadow Shaman wards needed. Power Rangers just don't stand a chance at this point. The push would have been too much, and the tower goes down. And by tower, I mean the Ancient. That's gonna be the game. Power Rangers loses match 1. All of the best of 3 against Stake Gaming. And we're not watching any of the other ones. So, for all we care, Stake Gaming wins the series. Yay! Hope you all enjoyed the video. See you tomorrow.